Good morning. Hey, good morning, everyone. Um, anyway, I'm waiting to see if I can hear myself out of the speaker. But anyway, you can hear me, right? That's awesome. Thank you very much. Uh, if you came here a little bit before the WG started playing, there was some beautiful music from a CD called Sounds for the Inner Child. Of course, I believe those us hippie folk know all about the inner child because it was in 1992. So I believe the CD may be back in the bookstore. I'm looking for Pat, but I'm not sure, but it may be back in the bookstores. Beautiful music if you were here listening to it. I think there's, listen at that, wow. How could anyone ever tell you you're anything less than beautiful's on it, which was played before, and I believe it was last week. And there's a lot of good soft songs on there for meditation or whatever. So check it out, Pat. It might be in the bookstore. WG played us There Is a Place, and In the Presence of Jehovah. Wow. And all of you have brought that presence here with you. If you would like to turn, have a few announcements. Again, thank you for being here. On Wednesday nights, we have the Meditative Yoga, which is really turning out to be a wonderful blessing for everybody. I mean, more and more people are showing up. So if you don't have a mat, I believe Linda can scrounge one up for you. She can. Yes, she has all kinds of things. It's not a very strenuous type of yoga. It's meditative yoga. And so y'all set the tone for the rest of us that come in for the Wednesday night Oneness meditation, which is it's all bliss as we walk in the door. So there's not much work to do. Just come in, be still, and be one with all creation. And speaking of one with all creation, what an inspiration Cat Stevens must have had when he wrote this song, Morning Has Broken. Can you just imagine being in that place to write down these beautiful words and to be that inspired by the Christ in which he has since turned to Muslim, he's a Muslim now, but he still carries the message of hope and love and joy and peace. So if we could all turn in your hymnals to page 6, or it's up here. Ooh, my name didn't have to be in lights, but I appreciate it. Let's sing this joyfully. Morning has broken. Stand up. Morning has broken like the first morning. I'm singing alto. Has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for the springing, fresh from the word, fresh from the word. My fall, sunlit from heaven, like the first dew fall on the first grass. Praise for the sweetness of the wet garden, sprung in the weakness where his feet pass. Have you seated? And I just have one more announcement. I don't know if Jeff wants this announced or not. Do you? Jeff and his lovely fiance are going to be married. Is it in October? All right. Congratulations to our brother Jeff.
Okay. Congratulations. Thank you, Deb. Thank you, WG. And thank everyone for being here this morning. And thanks to all that are on the Zoom and YouTube. So glad to have you here this morning. So as we begin our lesson today, let's just take a moment just to take a few deep breaths and just close our eyes and relax. Go into that place that WG was playing about. There is a place. That place that you can always go. That place right in your heart. Just relax. Let go of all the hustle bustle of this week. Anything that you've been holding on to that's been concerning you, just release it, let go, and let God. Our loving Creator, we turn our thoughts and minds away from the outer world. And we recognize you right here, right now. For us, there's no place to go or nothing to do except to be here with you, dear God, and with each other. Feeling your peace, your love, your kindness. Going into those deep spaces within the temple of God, which is us. Meeting with you and feeling your joy, your life. We rejoice this day at the mighty works of your hand and the beauty of this world and the kindness and the sweetness that we feel right here, right now. I know not what each and every one comes for this morning, except I do know they're coming to meet with you, dear God, because they can feel your presence. They know that you're right here, right now. Not because it's a building called unity, but because we're here together. And you said where 2 or 3 are gathered, there I will be with you also. So we give thanks. And I let go and I let God. May each and every one of us just let go of our thoughts, our personalities, our expectations, and let the leading of the Spirit lead us and guide us as we ask the ego self to set aside, dear God. That whatever it is that someone needs to hear this day, may someone speak it or sing it. May the heart be touched and the hearts open as we surrender to you. Thank you for your goodness, God. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your forgiving of all things. In and through the name and the power of the living Christ. Amen. Been going to several funerals here lately and hearing different ideas about who God is. And I realized that we all see God in our own ideas. What do you think? Where do you see God? How do you see God? I know for a long, long time we've been taught that God is a vengeful God, a wrathful God, an angry God. And even as a child, that bothered me for some reason. And I would hear the scripture or about the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And I never thought I'd say that, but I questioned it. I question, is my God the same God as Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? And who is this God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? And this week I began to look at that again. And to me, I've always looked at God as a loving God. Why did I see him as a loving God? Because Jesus came teaching us about his Father. Jesus is a person I feel had a personal relationship with the Father. Not that the prophets of old didn't have that relationship, but as I look back too, I look at some of his disciples, how they saw the Father, how they saw Jesus. And we see it through our own eyes. And usually it's not the eyes of the heart. I love that song, Open the Eyes of My Heart, Lord. I want to see you. I want to know you. But until the eyes of the heart are open, we see, as Paul would say, through a glass dimly. We can only see a perception of who and what God is. And so Peter went to Jesus one day. Jesus was talking. He said, look, Lord, he said, you talk about forgiveness. He said, you talk about forgiveness. He said, but how often are we supposed to forgive somebody? He said 70 times 70 times 70, 70, kept going on. That complete time, you keep forgiving until you forgive completely. And he was talking about turning the other cheek. If somebody does something against you, slaps you on one side of your face, turn the other cheek. Well, that just didn't suit them. The disciples just couldn't fathom what he was talking about. And to me, he was saying, just look a different way at it. Look a different way. Why is this person so angry at me? What's going on? What's happening? Why are they reacting? And it may not have anything to do with you personally. They just react to something that happened years ago, ages ago, or that day that somebody else said or did something, and what you said or did or how you looked at them triggered that, and up it came, and they responded. So Jesus came bringing the message of forgiveness. He came bringing a message of love. And he said that's who the Father was. He said, be merciful. Be merciful as the Father in heaven is merciful. Well, the Old Testament doesn't seem like he's very merciful, does it? The God of anger and wrath. But there's a story Jesus went on to tell. He said, there was a man that owed a great debt to the king. And he worked for him. He was his servant. And the king ever so often would go down the list and see what was going on with the people in his township. And the guy was standing in front of him. He said, I see you owe me a lot of money here. And he knew that he would probably throw him in prison. And the guy got down on his knees and started begging. He said, please, master, please be patient with me. Just give me some time. Just forgive me for a while. Just be patient with me, and I'll pay you back every penny I owe you. I know I'm in debt to you. I know I am. So the king had mercy on his servant. He said, all is forgiven. All is forgiven. All is forgiven. Now, as Jesus was telling the story, he was telling the story so the people could understand about forgiveness. And he was speaking to them about how the Father forgives. When you come and you ask for mercy, you come and you truly mean it, he forgives you. But he knew the heart of that man. I know he did. God knows our heart. He knows if we're coming to a place that we truly want to be forgiven of all the past things that we've done and turn them loose, or if we're just saying it in the moment. But yes, his mercy is great. So this man was totally forgiven. So he goes out and he finds, and he started yelling and screaming at this guy, hey, you got to pay me right now. The man said the same things that he did. He said, please, please have patience with me. I know I owe you some, and it's not very much that I owe you. But I promise you, if you just give me a little time, I'll pay it off. And he probably said, I'll even give you interest on it. He said, no, I want it now, or you're going to prison. And he threw him in prison. So the king heard about it. He brought him before him and he said, "Oh, you evil person. Why did you do that? Why did you do that to another person when you had already received mercy? You had already been forgiven of a thing. You have been forgiven of much more than this man owed you." And so he told him to depart from him, and he was thrown into prison. What's this prison about? The prison happens to be for us today a part of the prison of our mind. And forgiveness is something that I hear that is very, very hard to do. Forgiving someone for what they did in the past to you. There's some of us sitting here that things happened 10, 15, 20 years ago, or maybe yesterday. And we tell ourselves, I will never forgive that person. I'll never forgive that person. I'll never forgive it. And the reason we're so triggered when we meet somebody that says or does something and we get angry towards them, it's not because of that person in front of us. It flips us all the way back to when something happened. It comes up for us and we blame somebody else for it. Because what we're looking at is right now in this day and this time more than ever before, I believe. They have happened. You know, we erase history. Have you been noticing that? We want to erase history. But this is not the first time we've done this. Because this is happening, I'm beginning to look at it and see how we have erased and changed things and changed things and changed things where we don't get the whole story of everything. And if we don't know what happened in the past, guess what we'll do? We'll continue to redo the same mistakes over and over and over again. If we told the truth about everything, we could go back through the pages and look at it, and then we could see how we would like to better ourselves or better the world or better our community as we move forward. But we do these things and bring it up so we can keep doing that blame game. That blame game. Blaming somebody else for something we are feeling or we have done or haven't forgiven ages gone by. So Jesus was bringing people into that place, trying to give them as they would understand it, because the God of our understanding is where we work from. How do we understand God? Jesus wanted us to understand that God's a merciful God, a loving God, a caring God. And so he began to give these examples to them and thought that they could grasp it. We still haven't grasped it today. But do you know what's happening when we don't forgive and we can't release it and let it go? It's only hurting us. The person that you think that hurt you a long time ago, they probably moved on and never even think of you again. Or some people you say that hurt you, it's you looked at them and you thought they were thinking something, or you thought they said something, and it never even happened. Or it came through gossip. It came some other way. Can we now begin to learn that mercy, that forgiveness, that grace, and go to someone? I'll pick on you, Deb, and say, Deb, did you really say that about me? And then for her to be honest and say, you're daggone right, I did. Then you can deal with the problem. But we have to stop making excuses for what we're doing. And when we do something towards another, look deep inside and find out why. Now, why I'm not saying this is that I'm trying to be some kind of a minister to make you feel bad. No, I want you to feel good. I want you to feel good about yourself, and I want you to find the joy of the Lord. And I'll tell you what, you cannot have that joy of the Lord if you continue to push stuff down in your gut, stuff that hurts so badly that you won't let go of it. It's hurting you. It's hurting you. And what it's doing, it's pushing down the joy, and it's keeping the love from flowing, because all goodness flows from the inside out. The goodness comes from the heart. But if I can't forgive you and I keep denying it, I'm blocking divine love. You know why I call it divine love? It's because divine love of the Father is in you. It's in me. It's in every person on this planet. And I hear folks thinking, no, it's not. Oh, yes, it is, my dear. Because God is that spark of life that's in us all. It's that seed of divinity that's in us all. It's that divine seed that's in us that's saying, come up to the Father, come up to that place. Be ye as I am. Be ye perfect as I am perfect. Well, I'm far from perfect, God. Well, why are you far from perfect? Because I don't know. Yes, you do know too. Yes, you do know too. You won't let go of the past. You will not let go of what has hurt you. And that's hurting you is you. Because you hang on to it. It's dead. It's gone. It's past. There's no song from way back. I wish I was a singer, but I guess you're fortunate I'm not. I'd be singing all the time. That was about what's, they're telling God that they want to be forgiven of sin. And the reply is, what sin? What sin? It's as far as the east is from the west. What sin? Do you know the real self of you has never sinned? Say what? The real you has never sinned. The real you has never died. The real you is the divine self of who you are. The real you is the Christ in you, which is the hope of glory when you realize that you are the son, the daughter of God. The flesh, the mental, the emotional, the physicalness of being a human, that is what gets off track. But we're here in this schoolroom on earth to work with that, to lift it up to that high vibration of what? Love and forgiveness. Love and forgiveness. Love and forgiveness. Love and forgiveness is the transformation that takes place in body, soul, and mind when you hit that place. But few of us will go there. Very few people go to that place. We prefer to hang on to what somebody did to us rather than let God do through us that which we came to be and do. Why am I talking this way? I'm not really sure why, but I've been experiencing stuff this past week. I've been experiencing things that I know you're going to experience. So I don't want you to think you're crazy when it happens. Because we react so much. Now we're getting to the place is in the Old Testament, it's talking about keep the high watch. Keep the high watch. What's keeping the high watch? They used to have the cities and the towns, and they'd have these big walls around them. Of course, I know y'all don't like walls, but we have these big walls around them. But it was to keep out the negativity. It was keeping out the enemy from coming in and bringing harm to the people there. So there's somebody always up in the tower keeping the high watch. And they would know if they're good or they can bring in harm or if they were friendly. And then they could open up the doors to them or keep the doors closed. So we are to keep the high watch, knowing that part in us that can discern positive from negative, good from evil, whatever you want to call it. When we see it about to enter into our gates, guess what? We have a choice. We have a choice. We have a choice. This started because I was playing with my 5-year-old and I started saying, you have a choice. You can do that and you know it's wrong, or you can do that, which you know it'll make you feel good and you're doing something that will make you feel good, or you can do something that really doesn't, just to desire what you think you want. And the choice kept coming up for me all week about choice. We have a choice in where we go. We have a choice in what we eat. We have a choice in what we say. We have a choice whether we forgive or whether we don't forgive. Well, I just can't forgive them. Just can't forgive them. Do you know what he or she did to me? Can't forgive them. That can't forgive them eats away at us. It eats away at us. And we're to a place in our evolutionary process. I believe just as the little seed begins to evolve into the beautiful flower, the beautiful tree, whatever it is, a human being does that too. And Jesus was trying to talk about love and forgiveness. He spoke of the kingdom of God. And even when he was finishing up with his physical life here on planet Earth, yet he had that power to come back in that form. Because all it is vibrational frequencies. That's what we are. So he could raise his vibrational frequencies. Remember when he was on the Mount Transfiguration? That was his body still. But he was in a higher vibration, his spirit body. He took Peter, James, and John with him, and they saw him there. And what was he doing? He was talking with those on the other side. And they couldn't understand that. But they were lifted to a higher place so they could see through the eyes of their heart at that time too. There's so much more to us than meets the eye. And yet, when they came back down that mountain, and later on as he's talking to them about deeper things and trying to leave with them that seed of remembrance and understanding, they still kept looking for a physical kingdom. Now, when are you coming back? When are you going to set up your kingdom? He said, I told you, my kingdom is not of this world. We're still looking for him to come back to set up a physical kingdom. He'll look really good in the White House, won't he? That's not his kingdom. His kingdom is in you. It's in you. It's in every single one of you. You are the temple of the living God. He spoke of heaven. As you begin to expand in your awareness and consciousness, you can walk and talk in streets of gold. What are streets of gold? Oh, yeah, I know what gold is. He's not talking about streets of gold. He's talking about a pure walk, a holy walk, a walk without spot or without blemish. No hate, no malice towards another person. Well, they hate me. I'm going to hate them too. No, that's not what we're trying to learn down here. It's turning loose of all these things. And if you are the only person in this generation that becomes a Christed being with perfection, do it. Just do it. You make the choice. You make the choice in every word you say, every thought you think, every song you sing. You do it. And I don't call you a sinner if you don't. But all sin means is you've missed the mark. And was it worth it? Was it really worth it? Because what happens, God's not punishing you for anything that goes on in your life, but everything that comes to us, it's for our learning. Do you have the strength to overcome that person that hates you, that does you wrong? Do you have the strength to forgive? Well, if you can't forgive them today, can you forgive them tomorrow? Can you forgive them 70 times 70 times 70 times 70 times 70 till finally you hit it and you do it? When you do it, there's going to be a relief. I found out this week that I can hear things about myself, this gossip. And a couple of months ago, I just fell down in a puddle of tears. Oh, I didn't do that. That's just not right. You know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Because God knows me and I know me. God knows you. You know you. So what does it matter if somebody says something about you? If you have blonde hair and somebody's talking about, I can't stand her purple hair on her, can you? It's just horrible. What should it matter if somebody said something? You don't have purple hair? Okay. But things are that silly when you begin to back away and spirit lets you see little things. Your eyes are going to be open, folks. You can hear two sides of the story. And you can say, to both of them. without it bothering you one iota. Now, I've talked about that before, I'm sure, but I never did really believe it, I don't guess. Because you don't believe a thing until you experience. I thought I knew, but I don't know till I know. Does that make sense? Things are beginning to be revealed to you and through you, that how you feel today may totally change in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye. As you begin to just let it all go, let it all go, let it all go. All the hurt things are in the past. Unless we want to be that insane person that Jesus met as he and the disciples were walking along and past a graveyard. They heard somebody in the graveyard. I've told you this one before, but just want to reawaken it because that person is us. Every time we repeat something that hurt us so bad that we want to cry and scream. You don't know what my husband did to me. Oh my gosh. I stayed with him all those years. Oh, does it still hurt? There was a man in the graveyard. The graveyard represents things that are dead and gone. It's back there. It's dead and gone. Look at what you've got in the future. Look at what's happening, what's coming to you, the beauty you're drawing to you. You are a magnet for good. If you believe you're a magnet for good, you are a co-creator with God. You are the creator of your life here on earth. You keep speaking the bad, and the bad shows up. Why? You're that powerful. You're that powerful. But this man out there in the graveyard, what he was doing, he was picking up sharp objects and cutting himself and yelling and screaming about it. They said he's insane. Don't bother him. Just leave him alone. But he was coming to Jesus asking for help as he was cutting himself. And they said they couldn't keep clothes on him. They'd chain him. He was just a wild man. That's our wild thoughts and our strange actions that come through us. Just our thought forms can put us into that anxiety. Somebody can come to you right now and tell you, guess what? You just won $1 million. Oh, you'll be so excited, so happy. And 3 minutes later, if they come in and say, oh, I'm sorry, you're the wrong one. How you going to feel then? How you going to feel then? From one way to the other. Or come in and tell you your beloved child, sister, brother, cousin, mom, dad just had a heart attack and passed away. It's awful. But then if they came back and said, oh, we made a mistake. God, love, you're so happy. Those things happen, and our emotional body determines, and our thoughts determine how we feel. How we feel. How we feel. But won't it be wonderful? We all think when we get to heaven, what a day of rejoicing that'll be. The time there's no pain, there's no sorrow, there's no lack, none of this. Guess what? Jesus came teaching. Kingdom of heaven is right among us. It's right here, folks. It's right here. Guess where it's at? It's within you. How you see, how you think, how you feel. So the overcoming that we're learning right now is beginning to rise above and taking control and making the choice of how you're going to feel, how you're going to think, how you're going to act. Well, I can't do that. I can't keep my mind still for 2 seconds because the thoughts keep coming. That's why it says be still and know. Just be still. If you can only be still for 2 seconds or 1 second, that's good. That's good. That's good. And watch the thoughts. But what's watching your thoughts? Your high self is watching your thoughts. There's something greater than just the mind. When you can connect to that, that is the God consciousness. That's the true self of who you are. And this is why we're on this planet right now, to grow up. to grow up into the place of I and the Father are one. And that my God is an awesome God. Your God's an awesome God. Your God is loving and giving and caring. Jesus said, all that I have, you have too. Can you hear it this time? Can I hear it this time? We have it from the image of the mind as to what it looks like. But we can't know what it is until we experience it. And I want to use the word revelation or something being revealed to you. When it happens in a split second, just a moment. And all of a sudden, I understand. Or sometime I understand and I feel like it's like cotton candy. You know, you ever put cotton candy in your mouth? And oh man, you take a bite and it's so sweet and you're, where'd it go? Where'd it go? Feels like there should be something there solid, but it's not. To me, that's sometimes like the sweetness of spirit. It's like it's so there. And all of a sudden, it's not there. But I can remember little whispers of it. How about you? But what just happened? One of my thoughts came through. Some of my feelings came through. Some of my unforgiveness came through. Neither height nor depth nor principalities can keep you from the love of God. Nothing can keep you from the love of God. And then I thought, except my own self, my own actions. God knows you're going to stumble. He knows you're going to fall. Just like you don't take a child and stand him up and he takes a step and you get upset with him because he fell down. That's his first step. No. How many eons have we been taking steps towards that truth of who we are? God is always patient with us. Always. Always merciful. Well, why does the bad come back around? It's not God doing it to you. It's really not. We do it to ourselves. That can't be. That can't be. You know that can't be. Most of you are thinking, I wouldn't have chosen this life. I wouldn't have chosen this one. That's not it, Elizabeth. You're so off target. But there's universal laws, folks. And Jesus, when he was here, he told us one of them, one that's coming to mind right this second, is you reap what you sow. Some people call it karma. Mom used to say, what goes around comes around. Watch what you're doing. It'll come back to you. But it's not always bad things. It's good things to you, too. The good that you give out, the good comes back. The good that you give out, the good comes back. The bitterness, the hate, anger, the unforgiveness that you give out, it comes back. We think we can hand it over to some guru or to Jesus or Krishna or Buddha or someone and say, you take it and deal with it. Now I'm all right. Till it happens again, pops back up. No, Jesus said, I know you have crosses to bear. I know you have things that you can't seem to overcome. But you know, if you want to overcome something or if you want to get strong, what do those people do? Workouts, lifting weights. You start out with something small, and then it comes bigger and heavier. That's what's happened with us. And then one day, as we've worked, we overcome it. If you've noticed, if there's something in your life that keeps repeating itself and repeating itself and repeating itself in relationship, finance, jobs, whatever, it's doing this for you to take another look at it and choose to do something differently rather than doing the same old thing we've always been doing. Inspect, different results. You know, that's the guy in the graveyard. A little crazy to think it's going to change. We have to make a choice to do something a little different. Be still and allow that Holy Spirit that is within you, that love that is within you, to come up. Loose it and let it go. Get out of the prison of your own mind. Because when something's troubling you, it's like being in prison. Every thought you think wraps around it. Every feeling you have keeps going to it. Every conversation you're having with somebody, there it is. There it is. There it is. There it is. Have you ever experienced that? Okay. Well, there's a power in us. There's a presence in us. And it's time to awaken the sleeping giant within us. That giant of the universe. That giant energy of love. That giant energy of forgiveness. But I'm in this turmoil. I just can't get that, Elizabeth. I can't do it. Well, you know, the disciples were out on the sea, had sailed out, and there was this horrible wind that came up. The boat was being tossed and turned. They knew it was going to capsize, and they were all going to be destroyed. They had no doubt about it. And where is Jesus? What most would say, where is God? Doesn't he love us? Go deep inside. They had to go down deep and awaken Jesus. What you waking me up for? Haven't I showed you can walk on water? Haven't I told you that you can speak to the wind? You can calm the sea, calm the emotional body. All these elements represent something inside of us. And guess what? If you've been listening to the teacher, he was offering it to you, but guess what? You have to practice. You have to practice until one day you see it works. Then you can turn around and take a glance at what has happened in your past and start seeing all the good start coming forward. All the times that God has answered prayer. All the times that the emotional body has been stilled, all the time that the hate went away, all the time that the finances were good, all the time when your health was wonderful, and know that that was a blessing from God. It's there. Maybe it's kind of because I'm getting old, but I'm beginning to see all those things, the blessings in my life, and even the things that I thought would destroy me, how they made me strong. I would have never thought that. And we go through these not just for ourselves, folks, but we are doing it for other people because we're interconnected with each other. I was beating myself up here lately about not being there in physical form for people like I'd like to be. And then with this COVID, it seemed even more so. But I had a dream, me and my dreams. I had a dream. And in this dream, I was beating myself up about stuff. People were all around. I couldn't get to everybody. Couldn't do it. Just couldn't do it. And someone said, be still, Elizabeth. Be still. Just be still. And I recognize the physical form doesn't always have to be there. How many times do you get prayer requests or something's happened? You go to that person. Your energy reaches out to them. Your love reaches out to them. Your forgiveness reaches out when you want it to. And when it does, it's like you're wrapping your arms around someone, but when it's the spiritual arms of love, it can bring peace. It can bring peace. That peace that goes beyond all understanding, I recognize right now in that dream. It's flashing back up. That's what God was saying. You have that ability to bring peace to everybody in this world. You have it. You have it. You have it. You have it. You find it in you. Find that peace in you and share that peace with others. Share that peace. There is somebody in your life that you just like to share some time with, because when you get with them, it's peace and it's joy. Don't you know somebody that you laugh with, you play with, you giggle with? All of you are those people. If you will leave stuff in the graveyard, guess what? You'll have so much fun. You'll find out there's joy, 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 joy down in your heart. You'll find that it's there. If you can take those problems to the divine and say, hey, you help me handle them. I'll carry my cross, but you be with me. I'll take up my own stuff and I'll leave it with you, knowing that you're going to help me in every situation, because we have power in our spoken word. We have power in our spoken word. I have a friend, when I say hello to him, how are you? He says, I am. I've done that for several years because I know who I am. And I ask that I am be speaking just like Jesus. When we know who the I am is, not me, the personal little I, Jesus spoke a great percentage when he was talking to the people. It was not his personality speaking. I am the way. Jesus is the way. I said, I am the way. You are the way. Yeah, we get it. You are the way. Moses asked who was speaking to him from that burning bush. And the burning bush didn't say, I'm the burning bush. It said, I am. I am. I am. That's God's name. I am. I am. I am. You put the I am in front of anything and watch what happens. Even when you don't know you're using the name of God, don't use it in vain. Don't use the name of God. Don't use it in vain. To use it in vain is to curse someone. To use it in vain is to say, I am blank, something's wrong with me. That is using it in vain. And you're calling it forth. The I am that you speak of is that powerful. If you are saying, I am, cancel all this now. I am bankrupt. I am sick. I am all these things that's negative. You are adding to that because you're using the I am. Just say your name. Let's just change it. Elizabeth is so-and-so, the low self. But use it for positive things. I am happy. I am joyful. I am excited about this day. I am alive. I am well. I am healthy. Begin to use it in a positive way and see what happens. I am healed. I am whole. I am healthy. I am healed. I am whole. I am healthy. As you believe, so it is, Jesus said. You've got to believe it. I can say it all day, but if I don't believe it, it's not happening. But if you are there and acting as if, the word acting as if, choosing to act as if until it comes about. It won't hurt you to do that. Guess what? It might even help you, right? So let's just take maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes a day to practice being that you truly are, a vessel of the living God. And see, as you practice the presence. It takes practicing. As you practice, see how your world begins to change. Miracles happen. It's time for miracles, folks. It really is. I mean, it really, really, truly is. We've been too long playing in darkness or whatever, or in the negative forces, in our negative mind, receiving all that. It's time to truly believe and truly change ourselves. Don't try to change somebody else. That's kind of impossible. We have to change ourselves. And in changing ourselves, It changes our thought forms. It changes all things around us. People will want to be with you. They'll love to share with you and you with them. And know that the Spirit of the Lord is here. Recognize it's everywhere. And your spirit is of God. So if you think of someone, send them love. And if you think of someone and it's something negative, can you see it different? Can you see it a little different? Sit down and be still and see something good in that person. And know if there's something going on, there's something hurting in them. Something's hurting in them to make them react the way they react. Let go. And as you let go, the flow of the love, compassion, joy, and peace begins to flow through you. For you are the inlet and the outlet of God right here on earth. May the new heaven and the new earth be revealed in you and through you as you, this day and forevermore. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Love you all. You are the blessing in this world. You are the light in this world, and we give thanks, dear God. And I give thanks to each and every one of you that have chosen to be with us today, those that have chosen through this year to give financial support, every dime, every penny, every dollar. We say thank you. It's kept the doors open, the lights on. You are a blessing in all that you do. And Deb, do you have any joy in your heart? Well, if you do, come up and tell us about it.
If you want to turn to the hymnal to page 40, joy in my heart. I've got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. I forgot to mention, flowers today are in honor of Deb Tyler and Susan Gordon's birthday. Thank God for letting me share with you guys. We're going to do the first verse of this song back to the first verse of each.
I got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Yeah, down in my heart. Down in my heart. I got that joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Down in my heart to stay. Thank you. And would one of you like to lead in the peace song? You, Deb, or come on, let's get together. Just circle behind Tony. We can come together, circle. Okay. Good. Thank you for last week. Let there be peace on earth and love. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. All is well, folks. Love you all.